Wait, can they see? They can see you. Brother Gary? Let me see. Okay, here we go. Some people are joining. How do I turn it around? People want to come on live, but wait, how do I turn it around? Oh, I can't turn it around. Wait a minute. Oh, God, I got to do it. Wait a minute. How do I turn this around? I know you... No, I can't. Oh, there we go. I haven't done this in so long. Good morning.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday night. Now we are practicing social distancing here, right? We do have our masks on. So I'd like to thank, first of all, thanks Chili Roll.
Instagram Live. I'm on, they're having a book launch. The cover of the book. Maybe I should be filming them film this.
You know, tonight is really important.
That's on my Facebook. Go to my Facebook if you really want to see. They're at an event in Washington, and we're launching the book cover of the book, Eat to Live, a Post-Pandemic Lifestyle. So the book is Eat to Live, a Post-Pandemic Lifestyle, and they're going to launch the book cover. And it's a party in Washington, D.C. That's what's going on. I don't know if this works. Maybe I should show them. So it's a celebration in D.C. launching the book. I wrote a book with Andre. Well, I was writing a little bit slowly, a book called Eat to Live, a Post-Pandemic Lifestyle. And then Andre checked out, and so I finished the book very quickly because so many of my dear friends are leaving their bodies because they haven't protected their space. And I'm praying that I can be one of the forces that will help us to make different choices so that when a pandemic or something comes, then we're prepared. So I want the world to be healthy, and I want to help heal the world. All the proceeds will go help others. That's all my books. But I said, can they see? I wish I could make them. Go to Facebook if you can.
But we are launching a Black female-owned publishing company.
The launch of a Black female publishing company. That Loca, what's the name of the company? It's distributed by Simon & Schuster. But I'm very proud of her as a Black female publisher.
Even in spaces where Black people weren't necessarily welcome, but for you all in my life, and even for Russell, you know, for trusting me with, number one, your books.
She also has the rights to my life story, which I rewrote. This book is so necessary for people of color and who are dying at a 3 to 5 times greater rate because of COVID, because of pre-existing health conditions. So the idea is to give them other alternatives. And the book Eat to Live also has recipes, great vegan recipes that are cheap to prepare, but are safer, healthier, and taste way better than the crap that we've been served by the food industrial complex and the animal factory farming complex. Is serving us poison. So I don't know if you can hear me, but the idea that we can make it on a plant-based diet to reverse whatever it is that's been causing sickness, we can reverse it. And we can live a lot longer, healthier lives. But I'm going to be talking to the room. There's a party in Washington, D.C. for the launch of this book. So please go to Facebook. And if you want to stay on here, you'll hear my responses and maybe not the questions. We'll see. I'm backstage. That's all I can keep talking. So the book is called Eat to Live.
Without any further ado, I would like to bring
They're going to introduce me.
My friend, my brother, Mr. Russell, my first author on Welcome to Your Life.
I'm her first author. Congratulations, Mocha.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Welcome. Can you hear us?
I can hear you perfectly.
You can hear us?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Something to tell you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Russell. Happy birthday to you.
Mocha, let me say this. Last night, my children arrived here to visit me. And they came to visit me, and then I had a surprise dinner. But I knew about the dinner just as I was finding out about their arrival. And so we made it a COVID testing party that every single person who came to the dinner party was tested for COVID. 3 of the 70 or so people we tested positive. 2 then went back and retested and tested negative. They retested twice. All 3 got a swab test, which takes a couple days. It's interesting to note that I could go down the block from the forest that I live in and go to the healthcare center and pay 100,000 rupiah, or $7 American for a rapid test. A very accurate 80-some-odd% test. So we had a COVID-free party according to the test. I guess some people don't show signs, but it's very little COVID here anyway. But I wanted to set a precedent, a Black House precedent, since the White House didn't have that. But you can test every single body that comes into your presence here. I know that rapid tests are not that expensive there, but they're not everywhere. So anyway, we did that last night. We had a celebration. They piped in a lot of people. I was supposed to show them my book cover, but I was told not to. And so I didn't show them the book cover. But it was actually, I don't like celebrating my birthday. I'm making a big deal of it. My 50th was big. 60th was big. It's just the 63rd birthday. It's like I'm 104. There's no reason to celebrate, except, I guess, that I'm still here. But the important thing about this moment with you is that I really want the rest of my life to be about service and about helping to uplift people spiritually and physically so that they can have happier, healthier lives. And I lost so many friends from COVID. I lost at least 12 friends. Imagine at my age, coming from Queens, New York, so many of my friends had pre-existing health conditions that were attacked by COVID. And then you see in the media people who are dying. Others are dying in part and mostly because of their diet. And it's such an obvious thing to me after 20 some odd years, but to the whole world, it remains a continued unconscious behavioral practice. We continue to do, humankind has done so much unconscious behavior, has promoted so much unconscious behavior on us. Sometimes we block out the truth, even if God speaks to us. You'll hear it, it'll ring a bell, and you'll be like, fuck it, I'm going to go do it anyway, whatever it is. And so sometimes it's very difficult to get away from the unconscious behavior or the habits that are taught us from a young age. It's difficult. You do it over time, you develop a habit, and after 30 days or so, or whatever number of days, you just start to love what's good for you versus what you've been doing. Because, of course, when you do what's good for you, it starts to feel good. There's a shift. And that shift, not only in consciousness, but in behavior, becomes the norm. It doesn't require discipline, none of that shit. It just becomes norm. And this is my vegan diet for over 20 some odd years. And I've cheated. There's a place called ACK Chicken. Everybody gets mad when I say this shit. And when my kids were here once, we went to ACK Chicken. But I got so used to all of the great choices that I could make. I live in vegan Disneyland. And in LA, where I lived, and New York, where I visit all the time, those places are vegan Disneyland too, if you choose and you start to get a group of things that you love. You just have to get used to it. Oh shit, we're at Taco Bell. Well, have a bean burrito, and instead of that hot clogging cheese, put guacamole. And then you find that, so over the years, you find so many things, and it won't take you years because you're living in a world that's set up for a post-pandemic lifestyle. You're set up for it. And there's a lot of products, and if you're investing in things, invest in the future, the products, and the shift that will happen for us karmically and physically when we start to take on a plant-based diet, for one. So what I have in the book is a group of recipes, for one, that are very cheap to prepare. And I have, a lot of the pre-existing health conditions, what they are, and how we can avoid them or reverse them. We're learning as we lose our friends. Maybe the last conversation I had with my best friend on this planet, I yelled at him and plugged him into a doctor. Because he told me he wasn't feeling well. He told me he got off the bike. I think he smoked a joint and got on the bike. But he sat down. He said, fuck, Russ, the room was spinning around. He said, and then I just sat down. I calmed down. Like we meditated. I sat still. And then I felt better. I said, Andre, that sounds horrible. And I plugged him in and I yelled at him. We had a fight. But that was all right. Me and Andre, I saw a meme with Larry David that said, your best friend is so good a friend, you'd be like, fuck you, I hate you, nigga, don't fuck with me. And after you finish cursing him out, you say, I'll see you tomorrow. So that's the kind of conversation we had. It was very loving, but it was typical of us. And the next day he was gone. And I think that COVID's attacking parts of us that we leave vulnerable. And I think that we can strengthen